We have earlier explained what prioritizing is in our previous sessions. Perhaps you may want to go over those if you need to. But here again, we shall be discussing about prioritization as it relates to the product owner role. We shall be more specific on how the product owner prioritizes epics, features, and stories. Different ways of prioritizing epic, features, and stories by the product owner. Product owners can prioritize epics, features, and stories using various techniques and frameworks. Here are some common methods for prioritizing each level. 1. To prioritize epics. Impact and value. Assess the potential impact and value each epic brings to the product or organization. Consider factors like revenue generation, customer satisfaction, market opportunity, and strategic alignment. Cost and effort. Evaluate the estimated effort and resources required to implement each epic. Consider development complexity, time constraints, dependencies, and risks associated with each epic. Business objectives. Align epics with the overarching business objectives and goals. Prioritize those that directly contribute to achieving the desired outcomes or address critical business needs. 2. To prioritize features. User value and need. Determine the value and importance of each feature from the user's perspective. Identify features that satisfy critical user needs, improve user experience, or provide significant functionality. Dependency and risk. Consider dependencies on other features or epics. Prioritize features that have fewer dependencies or ones that unblock other critical functionalities. Also, assess the risk associated with each feature and address high-risk items earlier. Market demand. Analyze market research, user feedback, and competitive analysis to identify features that align with market demands and provide a competitive advantage. 3. To prioritize user stories. User value and impact. Assess the user value and impact of each user story. Prioritize stories that directly address user needs, deliver value, or provide essential functionality. Dependencies and sequencing. Consider dependencies between user stories. Prioritize stories that can be implemented independently, or those that unblock other high-priority stories. Also, consider any logical sequencing required for story implementation. Effort and complexity. Evaluate the effort and complexity associated with each user story. Prioritize stories that can be delivered quickly, have a low implementation effort, or reduce overall project risk. Urgency. The product owner may also need to consider urgency when prioritizing stories. This could include factors such as stories that are required to meet a deadline or stories that are being requested by a high-priority stakeholder. These prioritization techniques are not mutually exclusive, and product owners often use a combination of methods based on the specific context and goals of the product. Regular feedback from stakeholders, end users, and the development team can help validate and refine the prioritization decisions. Different techniques used by product owners to prioritize epic, features, and stories. Product owners have several techniques at their disposal to prioritize epics, features, and user stories. Here are some commonly used techniques for each level. 1. Techniques used to prioritize epics. MOSCO stands for must have, should have, could have, won't have. MOSCO technique to categorize epics based on their priority and necessity. This helps identify and focus on the most critical epics first. Kono model. Apply the Kono model to understand customer satisfaction and prioritize epics based on their potential to delight customers or meet basic expectations. Cost of delay. Evaluate the cost of delay associated with each epic, considering factors like potential revenue loss, missed market opportunities, or negative customer impact. Prioritize epics with the highest cost of delay. 2. Techniques used to prioritize features. Weighted scoring. Assign weights to different criteria such as customer value, business value, effort, and technical feasibility. Score and rank features based on these weighted criteria to determine the prioritization order. Value versus effort matrix. Plot features on a matrix with value on one axis and effort on the other. Focus on features that have high value and low effort, striking a balance between impact and implementation effort. relative prioritization, conduct collaborative workshops with stakeholders, development team, and subject matter experts to collectively prioritize features through discussions, voting, or ranking exercises. 3. Techniques used to prioritize user stories. User story mapping. Create a user story map by visualizing user stories in a hierarchical structure. Prioritize stories based on their position in the map, starting with the core or essential stories and gradually expanding to secondary or optional ones. Risk versus reward. Assess the potential risks and rewards associated with each user story. Prioritize stories that mitigate significant risks or provide high value while minimizing potential downsides. Value poker. Facilitate a collaborative estimation session with the development team and stakeholders to assign relative values or points to user stories. Prioritize stories with higher value points. It's important to note that these techniques are not exhaustive, and product owners can tailor their approach based on their specific context and needs. Regularly reviewing and adapting prioritization based on feedback, market changes, and evolving requirements is also crucial for effective product management. Questions. 1. Could you explain what prioritization is? 2. Could you relate on how to prioritize epics, features, and stories? 3. Could you mention and explain the prioritization techniques typical to epics, features, and stories?